Welcome back to part two. Topic is mental health. We're going to start moving along into the process. Last person you just heard was Shaz. Shout out Shaz. Shout out to everyone that's turned up today, because obviously this is not something that's easily spoken about. It means a lot to a lot of people, and it can be devastating in some cases, as you'll see as we go further forward. So let's get back to X and see what's up right now, what the next question is, or what the question was, or where we're going to go from there. I believe Shaz was the last person that spoke. Let's get into it. Yo, X.
What's up, brother?
Yeah, so we just had Shaz. What was the question, last question, just to rephrase, that you asked?
So the last question is, how did mental disability affect you when you was little all the way to now?
Mm.
Was it easy or was it difficult? And just by hearing Chaz's response, appreciate it, no doubt. I know people that can actually relate to that. So with me, with me, it all started as me as a baby growing up to be premature. So basically, coming out of your mother's womb before the due date of 9 months. So since then, the doctors told my mom that I have ADHD, and I've been doing my research. And one of the reasons of ADHD is when a baby comes out premature. So there you go. I was born with ADHD, and with that, I was very different from the other people as far as the kids, as far as my family. I was more over hyper than anything. But when it came to me feeling embarrassed and everything, I used to cry and hide in closets. I used to run away from classes. I felt so embarrassed of just me being in a space, knowing that people is not going to accept me for who I am. And when I was little, it was more of like either I cried and quit, or I used to have so much tantrums to a point where people used to get annoyed by me. And the more I got older, the more I started growing, and the more I started learning a lot of things. And as you look at it now, I still suffer through that. But as far as ADHD wise, I'm not hyper like I used to be. But as far as I know, my mindset has been more hyped than anything, because I am willing to learn and willing to have a creative mind as the days go by. And the way that I suffer through this is with anxiety and depression coming along the way. There's a lot of things such as pain and despair, neglection, depression, everything that has been attacked on. It just made me feel even more weaker as a person. And I've been bullied for it, you know. I've been bullied for those reasons. People used to call me not normal, and it really struck the nerve, you know. But overall, I learned that even as a person with a mental disability, you can still be intelligent. Even a person with mental disability, you can still be able to be human. Nobody is perfect, and at the end of the day, I feel like everyone should be treated equally. Because if someone was in that situation, they would have been feeling the same way too. And like I said, I'm just glad to be where I'm at today, knowing the fact that I learned more and able to comprehend more than I used to do when I was little. And people used to tell, like I said, people tell me all the time, extravagance, you have an old soul. Extravagance, your level of maturity is higher than most people. And that's a compliment, because most people are not able to adapt to that. And for me to adapt to that with all the setbacks that I had in my way, it truly is an honor, you know?
No doubt. Um,
All right, Halo.
I think mine started with split personality. In fact, I would say I know mine started with split personality, which then, because of confusion, frustration and all the things going through split personality, I then, ended up with depression. Um, I think it was easier when I was younger because I wasn't able to get into much trouble and I wasn't very emotionally linked to many people. So having that, I think it was more just feeling some type of way, my emotions about myself. Um, as getting older, yeah, that's where the violence came into it. Um, the anger, the the feeling of feeling misunderstood and not accepted. Um, Loneliness, because loneliness came from not feeling like everyone else, felt like an outsider, like an alien. Um, yeah, those are the ones that I think that really played a part on my depression. And as I got older and started to be aware of my mental health situation, I was like, I think it got so much harder. At the same time, this is gonna sound so mad, but easier too, because it was easier for me now because I know the triggers, I know what it's gonna cause, the effects, the trauma, the destruction. I know, um, but at the same time, it's hard because other people don't know. So I have to be aware of not only myself but other people too. So it's more pressure on me. I'm not just thinking about self. I'm attached to everything else. Um, then I would say the pain and the destruction, things connected to having to connect to people and then disconnect to them. Um, my daughter is only 11 and she talks to me like she said to me today, friends at her school. She keeps like, arguing with them, they're getting in situations and then she'll walk away and they won't be friends for a bit and then it starts up, like, okay, we forgive you or we're sorry, I'll come back, and then it's always a back and back forth, how kids are. Now, that turns into bullying at some stage. But she says it's not the fact that she can't walk away or can't stay away, but it's the fact that when you make that connection, it's so hard for you that you don't want to, even knowing the process of the outcome of what's going on in the situation. And for me, and me and my bro was in the car talking to her on the phone through the loudspeaker, and he's like, "She's fast forward, fam. Like she's intelligent." I feel good that she's at that intelligence at that age, but I heard that she has to have that experience at that age. So as I'm older now, seeing how bits of me reflect onto other people and how it might cause them to feel, as well as how it might cause me to feel, I will be withheld, scared to want to get in any type of love situation as a friend or more. I'll be afraid of that because why get into love if it hurts when it ends? Do you get what I'm coming from? So they're like little things that I would put in place to stop myself from going down the road like that. Um, and I feel that it does have more of an effect now because I'm grown now. And no matter what you do in life, you have responsibilities and you have karma. You have all these things. You have a conscience. So your conscience is gonna come back to you at some point, and and that's me as well. I think going through certain things that I did, doing certain things that I did, my conscience always comes back on me too. And I know that I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to be having to feel like I need to make up for things that I've done in the past. So I try to make sure I do the right thing now. With all of those bits of mental health attached, it's really hard and it does cause such a problem for myself. But again, it's then how to be able to deal with it. So yeah, that's me.
I really appreciate that, man. I really do. So I want to dig deeper into this topic. Obviously, people that go through this, we tend to think a lot of things. We tend to say a lot of things, and not also that, but we tend to feel a lot of things. So my question is, was there ever a time that because of you just being a person having this mental illness, has it ever led to you having physical harm or suicidal thoughts in your head? So I'm gonna start off with Halo on this one.
Um, yeah. Uh, I think my first stage was dealing with split personality. Um, the battles that I felt
Yeah.
within inside myself and within my head, it quicker escalated to serious situations where it felt like it hurt so much that the only way I could stop it was suicide or attempting at the time. Um, as with self harm, I feel that was at a later stage in my life where it's like someone does something or someone I'm connected to or some form of situation happens and it's deep enough that it's caused a reaction of rage within me that I feel that if I don't harm myself to let it out, I'm gonna kill someone. I'm gonna go absolutely berserk. I'm gonna do something stupid. So I feel that you know what, it will be easier. And then with the mental health too, the depression, that the things in my head, it's your fault anyway. You deserve it. Like all the little things that you'll feel and think, and they will also add to that fire. And it's like when a person gets emotionally, mentally, physically drained, there's only so much that they start to believe that they can actually go through or take, and that will often lead to, even for some might not be suicide as much, but indirectly, because they will drink and get that drunk and risk their life walking across the road when they know cars fly up. Do you get what I'm saying? They'll put themselves in dangerous situations where they wouldn't normally, but because of the hurt and everything going on, that's their way. They might not be suicidal where they can actually act on it, but they indirectly act on it. So I mean, now, from my younger years, teenage years, into my older to now times, it's twice as hard because it's no longer about what people think. That's why I do these videos. That's why I talk to the kids that I talk to. I work with the people that I work with. That's why I'm so open to do it in public and say, because to me it's not a weakness, it's a strength. So my only battle with that, I guess, is still one of not feeling complete, not feeling like you belong or a part of something, and the fear of feeling that either you're gonna fail or people are gonna stab you in your back. That adds to their mind problems now as a grown up, because I have to look at what affects me and what is gonna affect anyone around me, my kids, my brothers. Do you get what I'm saying? My girl, whatever. I have to look and see how someone else's reaction can make me maybe act out emotionally, or something around my people which might cause them. So it's, yeah, it's a lot more to take in. So the more time I stay to myself, I don't have to really be giving anyone else problems.
I hear that. I really do appreciate it. You know, for me, I had suicidal thoughts when it came to a mind where I just feel like I was just trapped in this world, and it was more of just me being this caged animal willing to break free and finding the people that's going to accept me. And there are people that does accept me for who I am as a person, but as far as the overall world that came in, it became harder because it felt like a one versus all type field.
Mm,
And with that type of situation, it leads you to doing things that you didn't expect yourself to do, but it led to that point where you have a whole roller coaster full of emotions. And the only way for you to express it is to do these physical harms and to just have this adrenaline inside of you if you want to punch something in the face or just punch anything that comes in your way. And for me, at that time, because of the depression, because of the anxiety that was building up inside of me, and for the people that didn't accept me for who I was, that I felt like I was a shadow to everyone else, I started smoking and I started drinking and I started doing those things because I thought it was a way for me to de stress. And I thought it was a way for me to cope and handle every single trouble that came my way because I was willing to make things right. But it just led me to do things that I didn't want to do, you know? And as far as suicide, that is something that you should not play around with. Many people go through suicide. Many people have that mentality where they just feel like they're not a part of this world. They don't even want to be here. And there was a time that I did not want to be here. I felt like the world was against me. I felt like everything that I'd done, as far as being nice to people, as far as trying to make a change, everything just went backfired. And with mental disability being into play, it just became even worse because now you're in this mental breakdown where you just start getting angry and then starting crying and started laughing, then crying again. And that was basically a whole pattern for me. But overall, I can honestly say that even though I still go through these type of emotions, it's not what it used to be a couple years back or even when I was a kid where I didn't really know a lot to what I had. But now since I know what I had and the knowledge that I gained from it, it's not easy. But then again, it's not hard either. It's up to you whether you want to make that change. And even though it's going to be a slow start for you and for me, and it's going to take baby steps, but at the end of the day, it's all about what you want in life and who is going to be the people that's going to support you and accept you for who you are as a human being, you know?
mm.
Chaz.
Um, okay. This is a hard topic. The question, I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, I don't like talking about these things as much, but I try to not think like that. I try not to do self harm, even though my brain, my mind is just like, go ahead, doesn't matter. Pain is good, da da da, it's better than all the shit that life is throwing at you, and all the people that has betrayed you or pushed you down, you know. And it's just like there be days that it gets very hard. It gets to the point that, your own mother tells you, what kind of a daughter are you? I wish. It's like I feel like it's so much hate, even between family, that even your closest, even the mother that gave birth to you, or the father that abandoned you when you was a little girl, or your sister that don't treat you like a sister, that beats you down, that makes fun of you, that envies you, that that I will always protect her, or anyone in my family, you know. And it's just like it's always someone trying to get to you, beat you down. It's always it's so hard to talk or to think, and sometimes you just want to let go. There'd be times that it would be too much, that I used to go under and just think under the water and stuff, and just think so peacefully. It'd be so peaceful, you know, instead of facing reality, the real life world, how cruel it is, how it brings you down and stuff like that. And it's just under that water, you don't feel nothing. You don't feel nothing. So peaceful, you know. And I used to like always think like couple more minutes under that water, couple more minutes, nothing gonna happen, just couple more minutes, you know. And it just be like it be times when I just want to stay under that water because it's just a release, a release that I haven't felt in so long, a release that you won't feel hurt. You will have a peace of mind, a release that you know nobody's gonna hurt you anymore, or nobody's gonna bring you down no more. It's just that release that I've been waiting for, that peacefulness that I've been waiting for. I always thought about that. You know, that's why I said before, ask for help. Because I trust me, if I didn't get no help, I don't feel like I wouldn't be here today. You know, yeah.
Mm.